assessing for their actual knowledge of selling is highly correlated with how they actually do selling.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Delighted to have you with me. And also, I've got Bill Carson. Bill, delighted to have you.
Thank you very much, John, and delighted to be back again.
Let's all be delighted together.
Yeah.
Sales managers I've been talking to that are saying, look, a lot of our team members are struggling, not COVID, but even before COVID.
Yeah.
You've got all the trends and less and less salespeople are making their quota every year and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is, I believe, is identifying in your team who needs help and where they need help.
Yeah.
You got some thoughts about that? Is that the right way to think?
Yeah, look, I really think it's incredibly important because we see it in everything. If you looked at high-level sport or any sport, the coach would always be able to do some form of assessment. And the obvious thing is, well, the coach shows up at the game and actually sees their capability.
And they see them in training every 2 or 3 times a week or whatever. So they're regularly seeing them performing.
Exactly. The problem that happens for sales managers is the seller is often, doing their phone calls and their face-to-face meetings or Zoom meetings. And many sales managers don't actually know specifically what they're doing. And to me, and so I started to really see the importance of being able to assess the capability of sellers. And there's a lot of different tools around. The one I've been finding that's been very, very useful actually helps to identify what does this salesperson know about selling? What do they actually know? Not their personality. What do they know? And then what I've been finding when I've been working with a number of clients is that there's a high correlation with what I call A graders who really do well, and actually they're very, very successful, and the C graders who score quite low. They don't know that much about selling, and it shows up in their behaviors. Their questioning skills are really poor. They put solutions in front of buyers way too quickly, et cetera, et cetera.
So okay, you mentioned tools then to assess. I've seen lots of tools utilised when you're hiring people, and sometimes when you're assessing people in the field and so on. And you mentioned personality testing and all that sort of stuff, and I agree with you. A lot of that just comes across as crap. It's not very helpful at all.
Yeah.
So let's make sure we're not confused about what sort of tools we're using, what sort of testing we're doing. Can you explain that in more depth?
Yep. So for example, one tool that I've been finding now to be very valid, and I really wanted to first of all know if this was really really valid. So with a number of clients, we've done the assessment, and one example was a Victorian team which was underperforming, and a New South Wales team that was more successful. And when we did the assessment, the New South Wales team had much higher scores. The Victorian team had lower scores. And then when I actually did the training, the New South Wales managers were so much smarter, more engaged, more involved, and the Victorians were always making up excuses.
Yeah.
Not picking on Victorians at the moment, but it really became evident to me that that there's a correlation there, and it then informed what was going to be of most value in terms of specifically helping the C graders improve to B grade and the B graders to get to A grade, and the A graders even get better.
I mean, that's the goal, that we can get all our salespeople productive.
Yeah.
Okay, so tools, the right sort of tool that assesses selling capability, selling knowledge, it will give you the results you're talking about. It will at least help you identify where the issues are, so that you can put some strategies together to address them. Is that
absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right, John. As distinct from a personality profiling tool like a DISC, well, that's all very nice because that sort of gives information around their style, but it's not the same. You cannot, you can sort of correlate, but assessing for their actual knowledge of selling is highly correlated with how they actually do selling.
Okay.
And what parts of it.
So I get it. If we can quickly assess, the knowledge about selling is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that we can then put some strategies in place to address where their weaknesses are. And in some cases, if you're really trying to identify who in your organisation you need to keep and who you need to let go, you could use the same tools to help you get that understanding.
Absolutely, and for hiring purposes as well. Absolutely.
Hiring, definitely. All right, Bill, some good insight there, and hopefully that'll help the managers out there to get their mind around how to focus on driving improved productivity in their team and knowing where their challenges and issues are in their team and doing something about it. So, Bill, thank you very much. Look forward to the next time we get together.
Thanks very much, John.